Happy Thursday, everybody. I'm hoping that tonight my comments work. I do have my iPad ready just in case. I'm not sure. It just depends. Sometimes it works. My comments work, and sometimes they don't. So, I do. They work. Yay! So tonight we're going to, oh, look at that. I put my paper on upside down. That's okay. Tonight we're working with the Lovely You stamp set, and I do not believe it has any dies that go with it. I've had this stamp set for so long, I haven't even used it. So let's see, page 37. Yeah, no dies to go with it, which is fine. Hey, Sonia. Thank you so much, honey. Thanks, Stu. Hey, Karen. Sunny and beautiful. Yay. I have a sweatshirt on tonight. I was a little cold. And while I have you here, because I know you probably have to run out to take care of your horses, Karen, but I received this beautiful card today. So I just wanted to let you know that I did receive your card, and let me take out your note. I love this card design. So, yes, I did. I definitely did. And the order went out. So as soon as I get it, I'll send it out to you. But if you don't mind, I would like to case this because I just love this card design. I love it. Thank you so, so much. So if you don't mind, you'll see it in the future. So that's what we're going to be doing, the Lovely You. Now, I just have one announcement. If you make a purchase tonight of $35 or before tax and shipping, I still have the swag bags. You'll get a half a pack of the 12 by 12, so it'd be 24 sheets of 6 by 6, a little stamp spot, foam, tape, ribbon, flowers, tear and tape. And if you do decide to order, just make sure that you head to the group and go to the buy one get one sale album, because there may be something in there that you would like, and you can get that for free on top of your order. So just keep that in mind if you decide to order before Monday at midnight. So tonight we're going to make this 4-panel card. I thought it was something different, and it opens up just like this. So it's 4 panels, and then it still gives you a place to write on the inside. Thank you, Karen. So that's going to be the card, and we're using Very Vanilla, the cinnamon cider, and I'm using Designer Series paper that is called Pattern Party Design, and it's full of really fun party designs. And this is a $30 paper pack that is available when you host a party. So it could be an online party, it could be a party in your home. So that's where that paper comes from. It actually looks like the paper from Flowers for Every Season. Yeah, isn't that cool? It is. It's a really neat card. And I have a little glue dot there because when I took the picture, this wouldn't stay down. So I added a little glue dot. And then we're going to do this quick and easy matching gift box that actually, when you open it up, has a gift card slot that you can add a gift card. And then there's also room, I only did 3. I do have other candy in here too, but I didn't want it to get squished. But you can add little candies into the box also. So it's just another quick and easy little gift box for a gift card. Okay, just take off my sweatshirt. It did get a little warm in here. So let's get started with the card. So we're using the Very Vanilla. Now this measures, and I'll have the PDF in the group tomorrow. It measures 5.5 by 11.5. And then it's scored at, let me just check, 1/4, 3 3/4, and then 7 1/4. And I think that's right. Yes. And the reason I scored it first, because I just wanted to show you how to score it the rest of the way. So let me just get my scoreboard. And what you would do is, we have the score line at 1/4. You're going to lay your paper so that's 1/4 inch score line is at the top of the scoreboard. Make myself some room. And then we're going to score it at 5/8 of an inch. So if you're not sure, each of these little marks are 1/8 of an inch, so you'll count over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's your 5/8. And you're not going to score it all the way down to the end. You're going to score it to that last score line. So your back panel will not have the score line across the bottom. Just these two. And that's how we scored our base. And then what we're going to do is we are going to cut, and it'd probably be easier. Let me get my cutter, because it'll be a nice straight line instead of a crazy wonky line. So we know that score line is 5/8 of an inch. So we're just going to put this here at 5/8. And just be careful, because we don't want to go past the score line. And we're just going to cut that down the score line. And I didn't go all the way down. I'll snip it with my scissors. Get a little bit too anxious and I'll end up going a little too far. So what we're just going to take this and we're going to cut off that 5/8 of an inch piece. Okay, so now you have your card like this. So you're going to fold it to the right. Get my bone folder. Fold it to the left. Now you're probably saying, oh, but that's only 3 panels. And you would be right. So we had to cut an additional panel. Let me just find it here. And we needed 3 1/8 by 4 5/8. And this panel is going to go right on this teeny little 1/4 inch space. We're going to glue it on just like that. But before we do that, oh, is it still blurry? Let me know. Okay, so what I did that I didn't do on this card is I distressed all the edges with Distress ink. Okay, good. So I'm going to just do that really quick to the base. And all I'm doing, you can use a brush. I like these little blenders. I think they're Tim Holtz. And I'm just going to get all my edges. It just adds a little bit extra to the card, especially when you're using like white or very vanilla. It just adds something to the edges. Now I am going to fold this in the opposite direction and just hit that down the center. And then we're just going to continue on. Hit this one. Just like that. And once we get this card, this front panel on, I will do that edge. Okay. So let's grab some glue. And I'm going to actually add the glue to the panel right along the edge, and so I don't get it on the inside of the card, I'm just going to lay it flat, and we're going to line it up. Let me move up a little bit. We're going to line it up along the score line and make sure that you are right there at the bottom, so it's nice and even. Make sure that this glue works pretty good. So we have that glued down. Just want to make sure did I cut my pieces right? Just checking. Yep, that's right. This one is a little bit too big. Okay, we'll fix that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to trim off this little corner right here. Just like that. And now we have our 4 panels. You know what? I think this one here is too big. That's what I did wrong. Yep. It's this one. Okay, let me just see if I can get this off really quick. We'll have to see if I can't repair this card. Oh, not too bad. The glue wasn't too bad. Okay, so let me just get this one on. See, I have all my pieces here, and I didn't measure or look at it beforehand. So we'll do this again. Just going to line this up. I thought that little end piece was just a little too small. I remembered cutting off a little bit of a bigger piece. So I hope everybody's doing good. Our weather has changed. Worked so hard to get those air conditioners in the windows. And like Karen had mentioned, our weather changed so drastically. We put, yeah, I like the very vanilla too, we put those air conditioners in the windows and had them on for that first day and haven't had them on since. So go figure. Okay, I just went down that line. I want to make sure that dries for a couple minutes. And I think I did salvage my piece. Okay, so all of these layers, and I have another trick to show you, are going to go right across the inside of this card. And I'll show you using this one. My blades on my cutter are starting to get dull. And I don't know if you can see, but at the edge of the paper you'll see that it looks a little rough. if you take an emery board and just very gently go down the edges of your paper, when you see that, it'll smooth it right out and take those little pieces away. I noticed that today when I was cutting. My blades are starting to get just a little bit dull. So it's going to be time to change them. Okay, let me just trim this off here a little bit. I didn't get the whole score line. Okay. So let's work on the front. All I have is a layer of cinnamon cider. I see a little rough edge. And we're just going to adhere this to the front of the card. Did you know that you can tell which way you've cut your cardstock just by looking at your edges? You'll notice on the back of your cardstock, the wrong side of your cardstock, the edges will have just a little tiny bit of a bevel. Mine has a pretty good bevel because of my blades. But you'll notice a little bit of a bevel. That's the wrong side. So if you turn it over, you'll notice your edges are just a little bit cleaner. So that's the top of the paper where you cut from. Just a quick little tip. Okay, so we're just going to add a piece of this really nice designer series paper. Even the back side is pretty. The black and white. Many of the papers in that pack, the other side of the designer series paper is black and white. Okay, so we're just going to lay that down. And I'm actually going to use one of the flowers from the set I've been using all week, the Elegantly Said. It's such a pretty stamp set. And I'm going to stamp it in Bumblebee. Let me just get a piece of scrap paper. And I did it in the Very Vanilla. Oh, sunny and 60s. Actually, today we did have, it was about in the 60s today. And it was very nice. I had to run to the store. And I think this is the color I want. I had to run to the store, and it was actually quite warm out. I was surprised. Okay, so we're just going to stamp this flower. And if you can see, I hit it on the edge there. But that is no worry, because we're going to do a quick fussy cut. Of this flower, because if you remember, the Elegantly Said stamp set comes with the punch. That really neat punch. And I was actually playing with that. You can make so many different labels with that. So we're just going to fussy cut this around, because I want to use this as the back to tuck behind the double oval punch, which I have to say, that punch is starting to become one of my favorites. When you can punch, stamp your sentiment and just punch out your label without having to use your cut and emboss machine, just makes life so simple. I mean, We got our cinnamon cider. Nice little strip. And there's, even that cut out funny. Let's do that again. Ah, that's better. So we have the back of our sentiment. And then we're just going to grab a little strip of the Very Vanilla. And I'm going to pull out my smile stamp. I have all my, if you could see my craft room right now, ladies, I've been cleaning and not cleaning my craft room, because I think I want to redo it. And so I've been ignoring things. Even my desk, it's, you know, not too bad right here. But if you could see around the outside, you would crack up. It is crazy messy. But that, oh, look, I did it again. Let's just go straight down this time. There we go. Now hopefully it will fit. Nice little strip. Line it up. Make sure it's straight. And just punch it out. Love it. Okay, so we got our label, our flower. I'm going to grab my pearls right now. And let's color in some, whoops. Dang, look at that. Let's just color some pearls. I'm going to have to cover that spot now. Just do a couple. So we can let that dry. I've been having trouble with them not drying properly. And I'm going to, that little smear that we just got from dropping that pearl, I'm gonna put that pearl right over that spot. Like I always say, there are no mistakes. We can always cover it up. Alright, let's grab some dimensionals, and we're going to pop this flower up onto the front of the card. Just grab a couple dimensionals. Yeah, I like your daughter has a birthday coming up? What daughter, Emma? And we're going to just pop this up right here on the front of the card. And then we're going to pop up this smile. And we're going to cover up that stem. I don't really care for the stem, so we're going to cover that stem up. And I'm going to lift it so my smile is straight. And then we're going to use one of these pearls. And we're going to just put it right there to hide that little bit of ink. And let's get the bow on there too. So we're just going to tie a quick bow. Yeah, the font is pretty. It looks like somebody wrote it, and it is a little crooked actually that I'm looking at it. Okay, so we're just going to tie this bow really quick. If I can get it tied, my goodness. Okay. So I'm using the Bumblebee Gingham. This is actually from the old catalog, and it did carry over. I have so many ribbons that did not carry over Even my scissors are getting dull. All right, let's grab a glue dot. We'll see how they're doing tonight. Oh, not too bad. I think it'll work out good tonight. Yep, they're sticky, so it's just about the right temperature. Okay, so there's the front of the card. Now let's head to the inside. And that flower, we're going to pull that flower all the way through to the inside, but we're going to do it in the cinnamon cider instead. And I grabbed this little, and I'm going to just clean it really quick since I had a problem with the edges. I'm using my block that has the lines on it, and I grabbed this little flourish from the lovely Hue. I want to say Hue. And I'm going to do all the corners of our layers. I just thought that adding the corners, because when the card is closed and you put it in the envelope, I didn't want the corners to be bare. So we're just going to grab our cinnamon cider, and we're going to just hit all our corners. Just a quick, easy stamp. That's one. We're going to hit every layer. Now, if I can get through this, I just have to learn to go straight up and down. I have a habit of rocking my stamp. I do that quite often, and that's usually when I get that extra line from the stamp. Okay, so we should have one more, and we do. Oh, I bet they are, Karen. You have a great night, honey. And I'll be talking to you soon. Enjoy those baby horses, those babies. I miss ours. Okay, so we have our corners done. Now, for the first flower, we're actually going to stamp off. So let me get a piece of scrap paper, and I'm just going to wipe off because we used it on with the yellow. So we're just going to make sure we got some ink on there, stamp off, and then stamp on. Whoops. There we go. Now for the second sheet, we're going to do the same thing, the same flower. But we're also going to introduce, I'm going to close that up before we have an accident, some of the leaves. And I'm not going to do it so crazy as the one I did this afternoon. I'm again going to stamp off, and this again is the lovely Hue. I'm just going to stamp that like that. I will grab this pretty little one, and instead of putting two, I'm just going to add one right here to the bottom, just to tie those leaves together. Okay, so that'll be our second panel. And then we'll go to the third panel. and it's another short one. Now we have to get this cherished friend, and I'm gonna steal my block with the lines on it so I can line up the sentiment, so at least I have a fair chance of getting it straight. As you know, there are some days where I can't even draw a straight line. So we got our paper straight, and I think our line is straight. Let's see what happens. Okay. And then we're just going to change up, and we're going to stamp off these leaves from the other page, just like that. And then we're going to bring in a new leaf, and we're just going to, again, now that I did that, let me just clean this off. I'm going to do it in the bumblebee. Hey, Kathy, how are you, honey? Hope you're doing good. We're just playing here with this. There we go. That's good. 4-panel card, which is really fun. Okay, so that's that panel. And then the last panel I'm leaving blank so you could write your sentiment. So we got all our panels done. Just going to move this out of the way. Grab the card. Close up our ink. So we have the front. Then we're going to go into our inside. And I actually do have the cinnamon cider layer. And then we have our flower layer. And we're just going to adhere these together. And this will be the panel that we use to make sure our layers are on straight. And I'll show you why in a second. So we're just going to center this. Make sure you have your space. That looks good. So this way, when the card is closed, at least your layers look even. They're not all over the place. You have a pretty nice straight line. And then when the card lays open, your panels have a pretty nice straight line on the bottom. So then we're going to just do the same thing to panel 2. We're just going to glue these layered on the cinnamon. And then we're just going to use that as my guide. down just a tad. We go to the next panel. Is this it? Yep. Make sure I get my edges so these corners stay down. Get it in there straight. I don't usually use this color that often, either of the colors. Now, if you were here earlier, you know this is the edge that I ripped off because I had put this on the wrong spot. So just gonna make sure that's adhered down really well. And then we have our back panel. Just checking my edges, because like I said, I'm getting cuts with rough edges lately, so it's time to change the blades. And I got my, I'm just going to trim that top off a little bit. I got my order so I could start sending out my pansy petal class to go. So I will have my work cut out for me this week. It's going to be a busy, busy room. Alright, so I'm just going to quick stick this in here to cut some of this off, because it's just a little bit too much of an edge. And then I'm just going to distress the edge. And then we have our finished card. And there you go. You'll see I put a little glue dot on this one, just so when I took my picture. So there's tonight's card. 4 panels. Just something a little different. And I hope you like it. Okay, so let's go to the box. Again, it's a sweet little box, just a regular flip-top box. And then when you open it up, it has the gift card right here in the center. And I did change it a little. I actually did the base in the cinnamon this time to see how it would look. And this sheet is, and I think I wrote it down. Yes, I did. 9 by 7. And on the 9 inside, you're going to score it at 1, 4, 5, and 8. And then turn it and score it at 2 1/4. That's a lie. 9 by 7. 1, 4, 5, and 8. Ah, yes. 1 and 6. I think I did that right. Yes, I did. So this is the bottom of our box. And like I said, I wanted to change it up to see what it would look like using the cinnamon as the bottom, or as the box itself. So it's a quick and easy little box. And what we're going to do is on one end, we're going to cut out the score line. And I like to just tab it a little bit. So I'm going to cut outside the score line and then just give it a little tab. This way it'll fit nicely, and then we can do this end also so it doesn't show, because this now will be the front of the box. And then we're going to turn it, and we're going to do the same thing to these tabs out here. Cut the score line out. So we're going to do on the outside, and then just cut that little piece out. On the bottom tab, we're going to cut it on this same side. So you'll do your lines at the top, the tabs on the sides. And we're going to do it to both sides. This is just one of those quick and easy flip top box styles. Okay. Now we have all our tabs done. We're going to pull in our tearing tape. And I'm going to get my handy dandy little, if you know me, you know I use the top to my glue. And we're going to lay a piece of tearing tape right at the score line. And then you're going to do one right at the end. We're going to make sure that these tabs stay in place. And we're going to do that to every tab that we just created. Turn it. And the same thing here. We're going to get close to that score line on every section. And just put, and you could use the Stampin' Seal Plus. I haven't used it that often, and apparently there's a little bit of a learning curve with it. And I actually was using it on one of my projects, and I ruined the whole roll. I don't know what I did wrong, but it started to fold in on itself, and now I can't get any tape out. Hey, Peggy. Thanks, Kathy. So if you weren't here at the beginning, I still have the swag bags going out, and if for $35 before tax and shipping, just make sure I'm doing this right, you'll get a free swag bag. But before you place your order, head to that buy one get one free folder, and if there's something in there that you want, I will also add a buy one get one free item with the swag bag if there's something there that you want. And if by Monday there are things still left, one day next week I'm going to have a garage sale and sell the rest of my things, because I have to get this room cleaned out of all my retired things so I can start cleaning. Gonna do a complete move stuff, and because I'm in the middle of a disaster, and boy, I hate crafting when I'm in a mess. And let me tell you, it is, I can honestly say, it is a disaster zone. Okay, so all I'm doing is folding in my tabs, removing the papers, and I like to remove the paper one tab at a time. I've found myself creating too many disasters, so I just do it one tab at a time now. So now we're at the front of the box, the top and the front. So you just want to make sure that you get this lined up really nice. And then the same thing on this side. And then we'll have our box finished. Just like that. Okay. So there is our little flip top box. Get rid of the junk. Now let's take care of that insert. Like I said, I did the insert. That's the wrong one. What did I do with it? Oh, here it is. I did the insert in the Very Vanilla. And this one is actually 7 inches by 5 inches. Because the box is 5 inches. You know what? I'm just going to trim off just a hair. Because where the box is 5 inches, then we have those tabs on the inside. You just need a little piece taken off. So like I said, 7 by 5, and it's scored at 2 1/4, 3 1/2, 4 3/4. And what we're going to do is fold it on our score lines. And actually, it's going to be backwards. And this one will be backwards. So you'll fold it in half in the middle, and then the 2 sides will come up. So it'll look just like this. And I could have used a different punch, but I decided to use the same punch that I used for the sentiment. And what you're going to do is you're going to punch in the center, so make sure you're centered. You can eyeball it. And then we're going to make sure it's in here straight. And I think it looks pretty good. Oops. And we're going to punch that center out. So now this is what we have. But now we have to make a slot because that gift card is not going to fit into the center. So we are going to grab a ruler and a pencil, and from the top we are going to measure down. This is our 3 1/2 mark. We're going to measure down to 3 1/4, and we're just going to make a little mark. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. And then we are going to measure in at that line in to 3/4 and make a line. Same thing on this side. Make sure I'm on the camera here. Let's go this way. Make sure you are on that line. Measure in 3/4, and then just draw your line from 3/4 in. That's where the gift card is going to go. And to create the little slot, you're just going to cut a straight line on one side of that pencil mark, and then you're going to do the same thing on the other side of that pencil mark. So you're actually cutting out that pencil mark you just drew. And then I should have pulled it through the other way. Let's put it through this way. And then we're just going to snip that off. Okay? And we're going to do the same thing on this side. Just a nice straight line on one side, the other side. and then cut it out. So now we have our spot for our gift card, and this is going to go into the box, so this is on the top. So let's grab that tearing tape again, and we're going to add our tearing tape. I just want to check something. Okay, and I didn't do it to that box, but I'm going to add a second piece of tearing tape to make sure this stays. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Just like this. I'll put it right about there. Okay. So again, this is going to be the top of the box. I'm just going to add just a little bit of something on the inside. And I'm going to do it now so it makes it a little bit easier. And it doesn't matter where you put your paper, whether you put it on the top or the bottom. Just want to scooch this down a little bit. My hands are so dry, it's not letting me move it. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing for the bottom. I'm going to make sure I put enough on here. And then we're going to center this. Okay, so there's our insert. So let's do the bottom first. Just going to remove this tearing tape. Just like that. Open up our box. And we're going to lay this in to the box. Just like that. Now that that's in, we can remove the tape. What did I ruin? I don't know. What did I ruin to? And then we're going to do the same thing to the top of the box. Going to get this lined up. And I just want to make sure. Yep. Line it up to the top of the box. Get that glued down. I don't think I have another. I pulled one in here, but I don't know what I did with it. So now we have our little spot for our gift card. And I even took some Hershey Nuggets and covered them with the same paper. So you can add them inside. And it closes right up. And then I have a layer of the Very Vanilla. And a layer of the Designer Series paper. And then we're just going to layer this on here. Looks like my cutting was really crappy today. And to be honest, what happened was I have a lamp at my cutting table and the bulb blew out. And then actually the bulb blew out because the cord got ripped out somehow. And if I tell you how I have to get to that cord, you would laugh. So, suffice it to say, I do not have, let me get a different one that's not, here we go. My light right by my cutting table has blown out, and I have no way of fixing it until I start moving furniture in here. So it's dark in that corner of the room. How's that for a good excuse? Okay, so we're using the double oval again. And we're just going to grab the stamp for you. I must have sheep on my mind. I keep saying Hugh instead of you. And we're just going to stamp this. I don't have to worry about it being straight, because I'm just going to trim this down a little bit. And we're going to stamp it with the smaller of the ovals, making sure it's center. And it is. And then we're going to glue this one down. I don't have to worry about getting ink all over, because these should be dry by now. And we're just going to add a few pearls to the front. And again, you could do this in any paper. Great for a children's birthday party or for a man. So just change out the paper and the colors. And I'll have the PDF in the room probably by noon. Nothing is on the agenda. I actually ran out to the store today. Ran to the post office. I have to start cutting up my classes to go. So that'll keep me busy. And then hopefully next week I'll get to start cleaning my room. Alright, grab that glue dot. Just going to add it right here to the, oops. Keep moving it. Right there on the bottom. And then we're going to grab the scissors, which actually they're also getting dull. Okay. And then we have our little finished gift card box. I think I like the cinnamon one better. And then we have our cards. 4-panel card. So I hope you like today's projects. Again, if you're going to order, you're eligible for the swag bag with $35 before tax and shipping. And then make sure you check the buy one, get one free. Because I will also, throw in the buy one, get one free item along with the swag bag. So you win 2 ways. Oh, I don't know, let me think about it. I'm not really sure. And there we go. So there's tonight's cards. I hope you like them. Have a great night. And enjoy your weekend. Hopefully the weather's going to be beautiful. And I'll be back sometime tomorrow. The PDF will definitely be there before noon. And I'll have a new card with the Elegantly Said. So thanks for joining me tonight. Have a great night, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.